The tiny Caribbean nation of Trinidad and Tobago says it will conduct 5 days of military drills with the U.S. starting tomorrow. The islands are right off the coast of Venezuela. The last several weeks, the U.S. has built up its forces in the Caribbean, including its largest aircraft carrier. The USS Gerald Ford is in position there. While on Air Force One Friday, President Trump was asked about his intentions in Venezuela.
Have you made up your mind on what you'd like to do as far as action?
I sort of have made up my mind, yeah. I mean, I can't tell you what it would be, but I sort of made up my mind.
The U.S. has launched 20 attacks on boats in the Caribbean, saying they were targeting drug traffickers. CNN's Stefano Posaban is in the Venezuelan capital of Caracas. Stefano, how is Venezuela reacting to all of this?
Well, I think that Venezuela, Federica, is bracing for something to happen in the next few hours, weeks, days. We really don't know when that could happen, but the idea of Donald Trump saying that he has sort of made up his mind, and then subsequently we learn that there are military exercises, drills off the coast of Trinidad and Tobago, which, by the way, it's really just a 20 miles boat ride from Trinidad and Tobago to get into Venezuela, to get into an area that is notoriously for the drug trafficking. It feels like that is yet another step, that we've been here, we've seen the tide coming every week that has passed. There has been a consequential step that it's getting closer and closer to potentially the United States really taking direct action within Venezuela. That would be a strike on Venezuelan territory, which is frankly unheard of. The Venezuelan president has been on television almost every day this past week, always trying to present himself as a peaceful negotiator, asking for peace and asking not to open yet another endless war. Take a listen.
It is to the people of the United States that I speak to at this moment, before these 100 jurors from 34 countries, to say, stop the insane hand of those who order bombing, killing and bringing war to South America, to the Caribbean. Stop the war. No to war.
More closer to home, in the next few hours here in Caracas, we will once again see supporters of Nicolas Maduro taking to the streets, especially in the slums to the east of where I am. It's not really massive mobilizations. The government of Nicolas Maduro is not popular right now here in Venezuela after more than 10 years of deep authoritarian repressive rule. However, it still can mobilize thousands, if not tens of thousands of people across the nation, and that is why I think that they're trying to move their base, try to raffle up their bases to prepare for what could well indeed happen very soon.
All right, lots of volatility. Stefano Posaban in Venezuela. Thanks so much.
America's greatest ally thinks America is doing illegal things. In a dramatic move, the UK has stopped sharing intelligence with the United States over Donald Trump's deadly boat strikes in the Caribbean. The Brits don't want to be complicit in what they see as illegal attacks. That is their concern. So far, the strikes have targeted 20 boats, killed at least 80 people, in what the administration now calls Southern Spear as their operation against alleged drug trafficking. This comes as the Pentagon is now giving President Trump options, the reporting is, for military action in and against Venezuela. What do you think of this?
This is a very big deal. I've sat on the other end of British counterparts and been that official they're engaging with to talk about intelligence sharing on sensitive issues. And that was in the first Trump administration. And look, we did a lot of stupid things in the first Trump administration that we were rightfully repudiated for, but we never had the Brits say to us, we're not going to share information with you anymore. This is the special relationship. This is our closest ally. This is a very big repudiation, and it does signal that they not only think the strikes are illegal, but probably that more of our allies think what's happening is unlawful.
The former commander of Southern Command was on my show and said, this does not happen very often. This is a significant thing. And right now in the Caribbean, they believe is the largest concentration of U.S. naval forces anywhere in the world in the Caribbean right now, which leads to, how is this not going to end up with the United States starting a war?
But do you not like that? I like being protected from all these drug boats coming into Miami.
How do you know they're drug
And-
boats? How do you know they're drug boats?
Well, I'm sure Intel tells them that because we're not just blowing random things up. But here's the thing.
You're sure?
Look, I'm in Miami. I'm a representative in Miami. I don't like them coming to our shores and then drugs working its way up at the I-95 to kind of spread drugs and guns, and it leads to prostitution and other things and other crimes. I don't like that. Why don't we cut off the supply chain in the waters before it even lands on U.S. soil?
Well, you
What's
do that,
wrong with
you
that?
do that with law enforcement.
Yeah.
I've overseen these operations before. If you have the ability to lawfully intercept a boat, the laws of proportionality say you go with the least destructive measure. This is not warfare. This is not a battlefield. We didn't
then
launch
what
an
is this
airstrike
about?
at we didn't launch an airstrike at Jeffrey Epstein's condo. He was a criminal. He was a pedo. He did bad things. No, you go arrest that person. Those boats are very easy to intercept.
It's
I've
very
watched the
difficult
Coast
to
Guard
arrest someone in
intercept those
Venezuela.
boats.
This is,
They're very
this
easy
is
to
an
intercept.
outgrowth of the war on drugs, which we lost, which we see does not work. We cannot police our way out of it. If you really are concerned with drug use, the only way is legalization. The only way to move beyond criminal drug usage, criminal drug pushing, is to have the government take control of that, right? Tax people, have it moderated. If we'd done this show in 1920, I would have said, we should legalize liquor. And you would have said, that's insane. We can't do that. We have done that, and we are fine as a society. There would have been a time we said, legalizing marijuana, that's insane. We did that. We have not fallen apart as a society.
It's a great theory.
Marijuana is legal in this city.
Fantastic theory in the classroom.
But it's the only way to that is how we have dealt with marijuana, the marijuana criminalization.
Here in New York and other blue cities, in red cities like Miami, we got rid of Proposition 4 on our ballots because we didn't want we didn't want the drugs on our streets.
We have about 24 states where marijuana is legal now.
One
So
question-
it's not just blue cities.
One question of where does this go is there's privately in the White House, there's an acknowledgement that they would like Maduro to leave. Obviously, Maduro is saying, the president of Venezuela, is saying that this is all this is about, is that they're trying to force regime change. If officials in the White House, Lance, start saying the quiet part out loud, I mean, I've heard Lindsey Graham say, yeah, I think that's likely what he wants to see happen. Isn't that antithetical to what the MAGA base wants?
No, not at all. I mean, let's remember, Venezuela is, back up. Barack Obama labeled them a national security threat back in 2015. They have been on a threat with human rights and everything else. They are the cog of all of the drug trade going on around the Americas to Europe and everything. That is absolutely a fact. They are also a cog for
Colombia and Mexico are much stronger than Venezuela
I let
on
you
this
speak your
issue.
socialist stuff. Give me a second here. They are also the cog for Iran, Russia, and China, where they all meet up. I don't know what President Trump's going to do on this stuff, but I would not want to be Maduro right now. They have a lot of problems. If we got democracy in that country, it would mean a lot for our national security. It would mean a lot to ending this scourge of drugs in this country and helping out the entire region. For sure.
I love the whole notion that we're just saying we're going to just dethrone their leader and impose democracy, which has worked so well in the Middle East. I mean, I know that's what we do in America, that we take leaders we don't like and push them aside and try to plant democracy there. It generally doesn't work, but that's not legal, and that's not the way we're supposed to.
I don't disagree with Lance and Angie. Maduro is a very, very bad dude. I got no love loss for these drug runners either. But look, the really important thing we need to focus on here, and I mean this, and I'm serious as a heart attack, people are going to go to prison for doing this. People are breaking the law for killing subjects that the laws of war say they can't. I want these guys to rot behind bars, but you can't just go kill people that don't represent an imminent threat to you. That's scary. It sets a bad precedent.
I also heard one person say an interesting bit, if you really do want Maduro to go, is that what you're doing with these strikes is you are destroying all of the evidence, actually connecting Maduro to pushing drugs into the United States.
That's why we
with
arrest
these
people.
which is why you arrest, why you investigate, and that is not what is being left behind when you're sending hellfire missiles at a canoe. But I digress.